Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy Friday and happy St. Patrick's Day. And we've got Charity Lawson's first interview as lead. She was on the Good Morning America. I was going to call it a podcast. Probably gets worse ratings than most podcasts. Good Morning America, the morning TV show. She was on it. And I've got the full YouTube version available on Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast. But here is the Instagram-approved version. So generally what happens with the content licensing is that when Good Morning America puts something on Instagram, it doesn't get us demonetized, but when they put something on YouTube, we can't watch it here. But I've got it up on the podcast, so you'll listen to the full thing there. But first, here's a clip.
Everybody has what they want out of a partner. We all have almost like a little secret list that we carry around. But I think there are also some non-negotiables. You know, some of that is, wouldn't it be nice if, you know, he was charming? Wouldn't it be nice if she had a great job? But there are some things that are non-negotiables. Do you have them?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I definitely am looking for someone who is a compassionate person, so someone who is extremely kind and treats others well. I think for me, that's something that I value and I have in myself, so I also want that in my partner. But also, I love to laugh and have a good time, so a sense of humor, I think that's huge. So anyone who can come out with a good joke or two is a winner.
Everybody.
Be careful, Charity. I know a lot of stand-up comedians you wouldn't be caught dead with. But of course, I feel like when the better looking the guy is, the more Charity will be okay if his jokes suck. She's like, well, the punchline was not too good, but those abs are rock hard, so we'll take it. So anyway, if you want to catch the full video, or at least the audio from this recording, I've got that on today's podcast, Bachelor Rush Hour. I've already uploaded it, so it's there. I just want to point it out right here. You don't have to listen on your phones. A lot of people are like, I don't know how to use apps or whatever. You can just listen to it on the website the way you're listening or watching my YouTube video, but you can also check it out on podcast apps if you want that, and in your phone, on your phone, in your car, or whatever. But anyway, so Charity had posted this on her Instagram story. She had said, or Instagram post, wow, kind of Owen Wilson, wow. I'm overwhelmed by all the love and support you all have shown me in the past few hours. I'm still processing that I'm your newest Bachelorette. To have this opportunity to find love again is something I am so grateful for and don't take that lightly. As much as this is my journey, I'm acknowledging that this is far bigger than myself. I cannot wait to continue to share my story with you all. My only advice for Charity, which of course, what do I know, is don't put all that pressure on your shoulders. Just be you. You sound like a fantastic human being. Be you, and everything else will fall into place. So all the former bachelorettes are wishing her love. It's happening. Congrats, girlfriend, says Becca. Caitlin Bristow says, cheers. Jess Gerard says, yes, the most deserving, and everyone's happy. Oh, Emmanuel Acho says congrats. So there he is. K York City, girl, I manifested this. Katie Bigger, yes, queen, so deserving, my beautiful friend. I love you. Now go find your mans. Bailey Brown, rooting for our girl, so deserving. So always nice to see the alumni, the fellow women from the season supporting Charity as well. All right, well, I've got a few clips I'm going to play from the podcast. I'm just going to give you a few clips right now as a way of saying, hey, maybe check this out. So on the podcast, here's what I like about the podcast. I'm able to discuss what I think is interesting and not what I feel like YouTube will make me will boost. So I've got some content that doesn't want to be its own YouTube video. You know what I mean? It's not long enough. It's not worth making the thumbnail or whatever. Well, I just throw it in the podcast. So today's podcast, which is episode 101, is one of my first podcasts where I reintroduced all of the content directly for the podcast crowd. So by that, I mean, I didn't copy and paste anything from any other YouTube videos. It's 100% unique information. And I'm sharing this story with this influencer. If you don't know, Brianna Media is an influencer, and she hired a private investigator to find the identity of 200 plus trolls and kind of expose them online and saying, here are your names. Found out where they worked. It didn't dox them or share their addresses or personal information, but just said, you've made my life a living hell. And a lot of them have responded and apologized. Here's what Brianna has to say. And guys, if you haven't caught this story, go back and watch. This story is super fascinating. It's not Bachelor related. It's super Bachelor adjacent though. And it's been worth listening to. So here's what Brianna has to say after hearing all of these people come out and apologize to her.
Nissan has been committed to
Okay, great. And we have a commercial. So it's good. That's good to know the commercials are working. Doesn't mean you're going to hunt them down. It just means here's what Brianna has to say on her Instagram story today regarding the relationship she has with accounts that are also, targets for cancellation.
Long story. Stick around. I think it's interesting, but
I do too.
You guys have plenty of Netflix to watch, so just throwing it out there. All right, I almost feel like I have to say this is not a sponsored post.
Okay, this isn't the clip that I wanted. I already feel like I'm showing you guys a bad version of this. Well, you have to listen to the earlier part here.
Finally got into my email, and there's a lot of apologies in there, and some from anonymous accounts still, but some from, or most from, people's real names and real emails. And I've always said that I would never forgive these people, that I wouldn't read their apologies, that their apologies would mean nothing to me. But they did. They really did. A lot of it was still not an excuse. The whole, well, you're a public person. We thought you weren't. But they did mean something.
So very interesting stuff. So we got that whole conversation, and she discusses that there's a corporation that she got the DMs from, the haters trying to get her canceled from this corporation. So it's really interesting to see how the sausage is made and the behind the scenes of that all. All right, I'll just share another minute or two of the end of today's podcast where I did a full Q&A. Some Celtic music in the background, and I'm going to, so there was one more story from YouTube that I'm not going to share. You can actually watch me put together this live stream. The live stream, the Patreon audience is actually in the chat. I think I'm going to buy her for her birthday. I can't share what I'm going to buy Tasha for her birthday, but you can go listen to the podcast if you want to hear that part, and the final Q&A. Time off on the weekends, and I try to compartmentalize my day so that I get out of the house and do stand-up comedy and go work out and do other things. But I think that it has been a rather healthy daily activity that I do, and I have no problem doing that while also traveling. As it speaking about Bachelor content, the bills. Amy Lynn said, "What was the best part of the honeymoon?" Oh, so a lot of honeymoon questions here. Let's see if there's any other. Cross-Stitching Queen says, have you purchased a Tesla yet? No, I balked on it. I balked on getting the Tesla because, and by the way, I'm glad I did, because my tax bill came in and it's double what I thought it was going to be. It's a lot of money. It's my tax bill is basically the cost of a Tesla. And which is fine. I'm all about paying your taxes. I just as a boss, I have myself on salary, so I pay taxes as an employer and an employee, and all these other things. So I'm not asking for anyone to cry me a river here, but I was like, I'm glad I'm going to hold off on this Tesla. I'm also considering buying a house this year, and as far as we get into more of the personal stuff there, the Q&A that everyone's asking, that's all extra content. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these Q&As on the podcast. Again, I don't mean to ramble. I just obviously am heavily promoting the podcast because I love my YouTube audience and I need to diversify. YouTube has had issues like this past year where their ad revenue from YouTube videos has gone down up to 25% on my channel at times, sometimes more. And that's nothing about you guys and nothing about me. It's just the marketplace. The marketplace can be volatile. They have something that happened a couple years ago called adpocalypse, which is when all of YouTube's advertisers went away for a short period while they restructured following some political issue that happened. And it's like 80% of my revenue is tied to YouTube right now. By the end of 2023, I think the podcast will be about 20% of my total energy and my equity. And anyway, if you don't care about the behind the scenes, that's totally fine. But I'm saying that all just to say I love the YouTube family so much, but there is a whole nother community on podcasting that doesn't mix with YouTube, and I'm trying to reach out to them. And chances are, if you're watching this, you may be one that says, all right, I'll give your YouTube a shot. It's just a little bit of a different thing every day. I play kind of fun music and we unwind. And I personally like it because it's a chance for me to be a little bit looser and kind of rant kind of the way I do in live streams. Definitely have, enjoyed that creative outlet. All right, folks. Well, anyway, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a good St. Patrick's Day. Don't desecrate the Irish culture too much. Enjoy a nice Guinness with some corned beef hash or corned beef and cabbage, and we'll see you guys later. I will have content for you tomorrow morning, so make sure to double check your YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and I will have content for you, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, everybody.